Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that is a brainstorm.
Yourself after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one. Hello everybody and welcome to Brainstorm Broadcast. To make things move forward in any given organizational structure, ranging from a state to family, a good and strong leadership is necessary. Now today's theme is a good and strong leadership. What is a leadership? What does it take to have a good and strong leadership? What kind of problems can a good and strong leadership solve in the society? Join me now on this stage, Rodrigue Bossole, a spokesperson for leadership and governance for development. Here, so how are you?
Hi, thank you, Mr. Guy. Very happy to be again here once again. I want to thank you for the privilege you've given to me at the end of the year 2024, and I'm very happy to enter in 2025 with gratitude and happiness. Well, as you mentioned before about this topic for leadership, I want to speak to you that we have good and bad leadership, for example. But I'm going to give some details before we go in the topic by the comments that you're going to make.
Oh, okay, let me remind the topic, a good and strong leadership. So, since you started, we want to kick off. According to your perspective, regardless of the field, what is leadership?
According to me, I just want to speak it slowly to make people understand, because we are in Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Everybody here speaks French, and when I am speaking this in English, I have to make it clear. We have leadership is about inspiring and guiding a group of people towards a common goal. It's the ability to influence, to motivate, and to enable others to contribute towards organizational success. Good leaders, they have a vision and the charisma to make others believe in it. They also possess critical traits like integrity, empathy, and resilience. Here is a quick breakdown of what makes effective leaders. For example, good leaders, Mr. Guy, I talked to you, they have to get a vision. Good leaders, they have to get an influence. Good leaders, they have an empathy and the adaptabilities and also the integrity. And while you will give some details, I'm going to explain to you what is different roles that we are debating here.
Okay, you talked about leadership, what it is exactly, but we're going to find out this video that defines what leadership is. Please take a look and we'll be back.
To the top. So come up to that marker.
So I look straight down the barrel. You ready to go?
All right, well, let's start. When you think about leadership, what comes to your mind?
It's a good question.
Leading?
A few different words, actually. Probably responsibility, integrity, vision.
Someone that you aspire to want to be like.
We often have this idea that leaders are the people who are just like dictators, and they want to stop us from doing things and make us forces, put us into place, and make us be robots.
Well, for me, leadership doesn't come from above. It comes from energies that are pushing you up.
Inspire confidence in someone to get something done.
You know, it's not just about you, it's about them, the team.
Bottom line is that the whole can be greater than the sum of the parts.
It's important for generations coming through to have people ahead of them that aren't saying,
It's someone who's willing to fight.
I think walking the talk rather than just saying things that you don't actually do.
I don't know what proportion of the population are cut out to be leaders, but it's probably not that many.
You see, I believe everyone can. I believe everyone can.
I think a leadership title, that doesn't mean much without the right qualities.
Traditionally, when we think of leader, we think of like a person of power or influence. But even at uni, you see people in tutorials, they're leading conversation or ideas.
I think that someone with an eye to humanity's problems is really admirable.
Be part of the motion of humanity.
Standing up, being counted, you need brave people. And also it's exciting to be someone who tries to make a difference.
Watching people doing great things and you just feel inspired and want to talk to them and learn from them and do the same or even better things.
I think real leadership is about changing people's lives for the better.
But now let's move into the details of what you've just explained. And it's going to break down the different aspects of a good leadership, because we focus on good and strong leadership. Mm-hmm. So you think that a leadership is needed in any given community?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a very beautiful leadership that is given to us in the Bible. I'm a Christian. I have to go to the Bible belief. Mm-hmm. We have Jesus Christ is our leader. And he has instructed us the street that you have to follow to get a good leadership. We have, in Jesus Christ, we have political parties, they have drawn their knowledge. And apart from political parties, we have other organizations, they have drawn their knowledge from the Bible. And Jesus Christ himself, as a good leader, he has given to us, well, first of all, let me show you others, yeah? Jesus Christ is often cited as a paragon of leadership in the world due to his profound influence and the timeless lesson he imparted in each one's life. Here are some beautiful examples of his leadership qualities. We have servant leadership. We have empathy and compassion leadership. We have inspiring and vision leadership. We have teaching by example. This is very important, Mr. Guy.
But another question. But the question was about the need.
I'm going to get you excuse me. We have teaching by example. We have building a community. We have also courage and integrity. This is very important. In a country like Congo, if you don't have integrity, we will have tough situations. Jesus Christ has given to us the forgiveness and grace. This is very important. But what is very bad and very sad here, we have followed all of these teachings from the younger age, but none of us has been practicing that so far. We have political parties. I talked to you before. You spoke to me that I come from the LGD, the political party of former Prime Minister Matata Ponyo. We have leadership for governance and development. The leadership that we get there is to teach people how to work well, how to bring good fruit for your country. We have to be servant. A servant is not what we call a mean man. A servant is a man who has to become big in the future, because the Bible teaches us saying that if you want to become a great man, if you want to become a big man, you got to be a servant.
So I want to make things clear. So you mean from your political party, as the acronym is, leadership and governance for development. So you mean leadership is the same with governance? Governance, oh, there's a change. There's a difference, I mean.
Yeah, there's a difference. The leadership is the way of behaving. They have conducting. Mm-hmm. You may behave, you may lead someone to the whole, or you may lead someone to the benefit, to gain the life. But if you have a good leadership that leads you to good governance, then you will bring development to the country.
So now,
don't make a mistake about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, leadership, is it an inborn quality or it should be acquired?
Leadership should be acquired, and I mean they may be both moral quality and acquired. But we get them if you have a good leader that teaches you the very good way of following. But if you have a bad leader, for example, rapper, rappers often follow rapper music. They often smoke hemp in public. They are leaders, but they smoke hemp in public. We have Congolese musicians, for example. They sing insanity. I'm sorry to say that. In the public, and they are not afraid. They speak to it, to people. But we have many people here, younger age, they often follow them. They follow their bad leaders, and they go to the hole. I'm a Christian, I follow Jesus Christ, is a good leader, and I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to change my way of thinking. I have to be straight, honest, with integrity. This is very important for each one to have.
Okay, so
Jesus is the greater leader that we have had, the world have ever had.
All right, so we know that leadership can be applied in a different structures or organization, in political party you just mentioned. So I want you to tell us some types of leadership we can have in any given organization.
Very good, important. Mr. Guy, you have to read the Bible. I read in the book of Genesis, chapter 1 or 2. God has given to each one the knowledge, the choice to follow, good or bad. You are free to choose good or bad. God has given to people their own ability to go either to the hole or to the platform of good education. But people, as sinner we are, will often choose to go to the bad way. You might have been taught that you don't have to do this type of sin, but you will see after sometimes everybody doing that same sin. But they know the drawback is very bad. We have in the book of the Bible some specific bans, or what we call it, interdiction, bans that you can't do this. But you see people, all of them, they have to choose bad way. You see, God has given to each one free of charge to choose which way to go.
All right.
This is very important.
You may have heard the type of good leadership or a way of leading a nation, a structure. Please take a look at this video that describes 8 types of good leadership or a leadership in short. Please watch and we'll be back.
Now let's talk about what are the 8 types of leadership. First is democratic leadership. The leader is getting the opinions or suggestions of its members before making any decisions. Second is autocratic leadership. The leader makes decisions on his own and doesn't listen to the feedback of its members. Third is laissez-faire leadership. The leader is empowering its members by giving them the freedom to do their work and make their own decisions. Fourth is bureaucratic leadership. The leader is strict on making decisions based on rules or policies. It is more on implementing and enforcing what's on the book. Fifth is transformational leadership. The leader is making impact on the lives of its members. Its goal is to develop next generation leaders that will give a great impact to the organization. Sixth is transactional leadership. The leader is focusing on giving rewards or punishment to improve productivity of its members. 7 is situational leadership. The leader is changing its leadership style depending on the person he is dealing with or with the events or situation happening in the organization. Lastly is servant leadership. The leader focuses to serve his members and be a role model to them. Thank you and happy learning.
All right. Now, does college education help to acquire a leadership skill?
Of course. In every country, let me touch you that we have constitution that they have given some specific way to go. If you haven't gone to the school, you'll never be a minister or a president of the republic. Why? Because they know that you have a minimum of knowledge from school, or from college, or from university. Schools, university, and colleges, they train, they form, they make, I don't want to say self-made men, they make good leaders. We haven't, I've heard a history of Abraham Lincoln. He went to the colleges, to college, and after completing his studies, he has understood that every human being is the same. Meanwhile, there had segregation in the United States of America. But when Abraham Lincoln became the president, he just banned, he canceled that, because he had been taught that the segregation is bad. Now everybody is equal. We have in Congo here, for example, I have my idol, the President Mobutu. He went to the school, he studied and he learned how to become a leader. He didn't know who he is going to be in the future, but while being educated by white men, he understood that being free is important, and he struggled to give what we call Zairianization in the Congo. To give the power to the people, the autochtone, the native, to lead their country. We have leaders, maybe trained, or maybe we can acquire that knowledge from school if you have been taught by good men.
Okay, so now there is a mixing ideas. You talked earlier about inborn quality. You agreed to good leadership, whereas a quality or a talent acquired from school or from parents or so to give a good leadership. And you quoted some of leaders who were successful because they went to university at a college education. Right. So now, can you tell us, because we want to see the impact of good leadership when it comes to social development, is there any link? If so, what is it?
Before we enter to the topic, I spoke to you that the link is because when leaders speak to you that you have to do this, we African people, for example, we don't practice. We just hear. But applying what we have been taught, we never do that. This is too bad. The reason why you see things are not going well. The leaders teaches, they teach you, and then you have to practice that. And if you practice, you will have good drawback.
So let's come back again to stress on good and strong leadership. Not any leadership, good and strong leadership. Can you say that a dictatorship regime allows or promote good and strong leadership in any given country? Let's put it in Congo, for instance.
Most of all in the Congo, the African country, for example, the dictatorship is a very benefit for the Africa.
Are you sure?
Of course. Africa is not ready for democracy. We have seen Africa getting democracy from 1990 until now. We are going down. So if you go to check from 1960 to 1980, you will see many countries, a lot of the African countries have been flowing up.
So I wanted to say again. To put little nuance.
Yeah.
Positive or negative dictatorship?
Positive.
Positive. So what is a positive dictatorship?
Dictatorship is very good in Congo because we have people. They are not ready for democracy. I was coming here. I saw people throwing bottles of soft drink on the road. And I tried to speak to them that you don't have to throw this bottle on the road. No, you just kick me out. You fuck me up. And then after 2 years, we can go to the democracy.
So you mean that good leadership or good or strong leadership
for Africa
dictatorship. What do we have to do with the rule of law then when we talk about good and strong leadership? So rule of law is ruled out, is put aside.
You just want to throw me to the politics, man.
That's why you want to put emphasis on that, but we talk about we don't focus on this also. Okay. You're not naming names of people you've been recording.
I can't name. I'm a politician, but I can't name their names. We have laws. If you go to the parliament, you will see we have voted several laws. More than 1 million laws, but they practice none of them. I heard last year, Ms. Kabila, Mama Olive, promoted a law for what do you call it, tolérance zéro. But you see here, people are raping women forever, every time. They never change. We have the last minister of Homeland Interior giving to Corona that you don't have to fight on road. But we see the increased rate of Corona fighting because the law we have, it is not powerful. We don't practice that. We just speak. We just speak to people, but we don't have to practice that. How can you speak to a child that if you go out by 6 o'clock p.m., I will beat you, and your child often go out at 6 p.m. and comes late by midnight, and you never beat him.
Okay, thank you. We're going to focus on 3 top qualities or leadership traits in the following video. Please look at it and we'll be back. Look at them, we'll be back and discuss other issues. Please watch.
This question comes up a lot. And, you know, you read articles and they're like, charisma, you know. I've known a lot of great leaders who you wouldn't even know they're the leader. They like walk with their shoulder against the wall, right? So, you know, those things I've seen yes and no. But the few things that I've seen universally about amongst the great leaders I've met, number one, and these things, number one and number two sort of go together. Number one is courage. Number one is courage. The courage to speak truth to power, the courage to be honest about my own failings, my own capabilities, the courage to be open about my failings and my capabilities. Like, these things are excruciating. The courage to tell somebody something that you know is going to hurt their feelings. Like, these things, leadership is an incredibly difficult thing to do. And courage, which then begs the question, where does courage come from? And I do not believe for 1 minute that courage is a deep internal fortitude where you dig down deep and find the courage. Courage for me is social.
Yeah.
So, like, I have the courage to jump out of a plane because the parachute on my back, the external thing, gave me the courage. And so you need at least one person in your life, professionally or personally, to say, I believe in you, you got this, and if everything goes south, I'll still be there with you. That'll give you courage. Number two, closely tied, is integrity, which is to do the right thing. And weirdly, we all know what the right thing is, rather than doing the expedient thing. Like, I can't stand it when companies do unethical things and all the CEOs are dragged in front of Congress and they all say the same thing. We broke no laws. No, you didn't break a law by raising the price of your essential drug by 1,000%, but it's pretty unethical.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we all know what right is, and the law is a lower standard. And so the courage to have integrity and integrity driving my courage, like, those things go together. And the third one, I'd say, they're a student of communication. Because a huge part of leadership is the skill of listening and the skill of speaking in a way that allows people to not only to feel, listening in a way that allows people to feel heard, and speaking in a way that people can hear, as opposed to triggering people, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So, as a quality, to what extent can a good and a strong leadership favor the public management? Let's now focus on public management. In short.
Well, in short, the way people have to be taught that the public goods that we have, it is for the public. They don't have to steal money. They have to respect the Congolese people. They have to give to people what they deserve. I've seen many public servants, not going to work, and they have several numbers that they get money each month. How can you pay a person who never work several money? Reason why we say countries not going well. So people, they have to be honest, integrity. With all of this, the country will develop. If we don't practice that, it's so bad.
So now, what kind of problems can a good and strong leadership solve in a society?
Strong and good leadership may solve several problems if only people are consciousness.
Such as what?
Such as, for example, I have spoken to you that you don't have to embezzle money. You have to work hard. You have to give food to people. People who are hungry. You have to pay people well. You have to build facilities to help people to get good wealth. You have to teach, to go bring school in the villages. We have several villages we never have school. People are suffering there in the villages. So the government, the leaders, they have to think about that. We have roads in the Congo River here. People are dying every day. There is no boat. There is no good transportation way for people to sail.
All right. Leadership, all those ones who could be. Thank you. So we're running after time. So your final statement before we conclude.
I just want to thank everybody who has been watching us. And I want to wish you Happy New Year 2025. And I want to tell you that you have to work hard for this country. We have only one country the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We need to make it better and become a very strong country in Africa. I don't believe that this country in the coming years will change and everything will be fine.
Thank you so much, Rodrigue Bosole, for coming.
Welcome.
Good and strong leadership, that was today's text theme we developed throughout this program. We talked a lot about aspects of good and strong leadership and when can it be applied and where. And we also try to delve into aspects, even result of good and strong leadership, even those who could be leaders in the days ahead, especially in African countries. So thank you so much for watching this wonderful talk show, and we think that in the days ahead, you'll be tuning in the second national channel to watch other issues that will be developed and presented to you. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.
Perfect. Bye, bye, bye.
Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm Exclusive Interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that it's a brainstorm.
Yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.